Okay, class. So now we are on the part wherein we have finished coloring. Let's say we have finished coloring our background. And as you can see, I have erased the gray fillings of the gray fills of my sample character size so that I can see how it is going to be placed. No? So I can have a preview of my backgrounds along with the character. Okay? So now, before we do anything else, of course, we need to do a save as. This is already a finished work, yes, but as I've said in our recent discussions, there are what you call fix up. So if you are asked to edit something or to add or to remove something, you cannot do that on a flat layer, right? So you need to always have a backup, okay? Because we will be flattening some parts of this layer. So this is going to be its original. So I'll save it. I already have just by pressing Ctrl S. And then I will do a save as. I will save it into a different file name. So let's say I'll try to use a shorter file name because when I import this in Animate, it will use that name for the layers if you remember our lessons in cleanup. So what I'll do is I'll just put KD, that's cleanup drawing 00, and I'll just add BG there. And then I'll just note here import. So this means this is going to be imported to the KD or to the key drawings to serve as background. There. So now I'm saving it. So now, that's it. I have it saved. Now what do we do with this? Of course, first we delete the layers that we don't need. For example, this part. This is a duplicate. Don't need that anymore. This part, the sketch concept that we have done before, it is already saved in the earlier version. So I can just delete this. Let me just unlock all of these layers here. Unlock them. And then let me just delete the whole group and contents. So now, let me also delete this. I don't need that background because I have already. Now, we have all that we are going to import. Let me just remove this one also, the character sample. Then I'll save. So now we have all the essentials that we will be importing. Okay, so you have the foreground, you have the midground, and you have the background. Okay, so what do we want to do with this? So the next thing to do here is you need to merge you need to merge layers that belong to each other. So let me close first and work them in order. So let me close the background and then the middle ground there. And then I have this. Okay, now this is what I will do. I will open this folder, this group of folder, and it will bring out my layers. Keep in mind, if you have watched the time lapse, I have separated these. You have a line art and you have a flat color. If you remember our cleanup procedure and digital coloring procedure, it's almost similar. Alright? So now, what I will do here is I will put them together or merge them together into one layer only. So I will just press Control. I will select the two of them. Here in Photoshop, you can select layers together holding Control. Click the other one. And then press Control E or Layer Merge. There. There's your shortcut. Control E. and they are now merged as one layer. Now, again, keep in mind that I have merged this as one object or as one layer. Now I can animate it, right? You can already see. I can do a simple animation, horizontal panning, yes. That's why I will also do the same to the other three drawing, there. But I will not put them together. No, I will not put them together because I want to animate them separately. So still, that's the idea. If you want to animate a layer, you have to give it or you have to leave it separately. Okay? You have to import it separately in Harmony. So in this case, also this is the outline, and then there's the color. Now I will just press Control E to merge, and then I have that. The next thing to do is delete this folder. Or others, they would just drag it. You can drag it holding shift. I'll select one of these. Holding control, I'll select all of those layers inside, and I can drag it outside. And then I can delete the group there. So now they are of their own layers. And then the last thing to do is this. This is important. In Harmony, you need to put these, even though they don't have the separate parts anymore, they each of these layers should have their own layer folder. Okay, that's important because Harmony will not separate them as separate layers or drawing layers in the stage if they are not being held in or placed in folders. Okay, so that's how Harmony reads Photoshop's layers. Okay, so because remember, we are using we are using two different softwares. Okay, we're using Harmony to animate, and we're using Photoshop to design the background. Okay, so now I will select this. It's easy lang naman. It's easy to add to add this into a folder. I'll select it. I will hold shift and click the folder button in the layer, under the layer options. Again, I'll select this, click the folder button here, and it's inside now. And then I'll name it properly. Copy, paste. That's it. I'll repeat. I'll select this layer, hold shift, click that button, copy the name, paste it here. Okay? Still, it's always better to organize your work. Holding shift, clicking that folder button, copying the name, pasting it there. It is better off to organize your work even up to the name so that they don't get merged together when they have the same name as layers. Okay? So now I have that done. I can close or I can turn it off. Saving my work, I'll go to the midground. Now, the midground, okay, the midground, again, this depends on you. For example, if I want to animate them all together, not the grounds. So if I am to move them just one portion, just one whole, so they can be animated like so. That's the midground, right? Okay. But if I want to animate them separately, meaning I want to animate this set of petals only, therefore I will not merge them all together. If I want to move this, in panning view, right? So again, it is up to you how you will be merging, no, arranging your scenes. So let's say I would like to have all of these petals merge into one layer only. So that means I can make a group movement for them. That's, for example, the plan. So I will select all the petals layers, and then I will just merge them, Control E, and they are now merged together as one. Let me just rename it petals. That's it. Now I have a log, the grass, and the flat colors of it. So I can select all of these three and once more merge them together. Same case with the first log, merging them. The ground, I just made an outline. If I don't like the outline, I can just delete it because this is already one layer, the color, the ground line. But let's just add so it can be consistent. And then let me just rename this the midground. There. So again, the same thing. Each of these layers is to now what? Each of these layers are to now have their own groups. But before that, I have an excess. Let me close just to show you. These are excess layers because I have sketched them separately. So I can delete that because I already have a backup. There. So now bringing back the midground elements. So now we are supposed to paste them into their own layers. Each of these. Into their own folders. Each of these layers. So let me just select all of it, holding shift, click the last one, dragging it up to go outside the folder. Now I can delete this folder, delete group, and I can hold shift and click and add these layers into, copy that, paste it here, have them placed into their very own folders, pasting them. Oops, sorry. There. So they are now in their own groups. Closing it. So again, Harmony will read these layer groups separately. Now let me save. Last is the background. So the background, this contains, of course, two layers of trees. So this is the first layer, and then the second layer of trees. And then the vines also, first layer of vines, and the second layer of vines. So I would like to have them separated, of course, the vines. I would like them to be separated so that I can animate them because they are at the background. I intend that to happen. I want that to happen, the animation of the background. There. Now, once more. Create layer. Create layer folder. Rename it. Pasting it there. And then oops, paano yan? I have created them within that group. So what do? I just drag them outside as if they're just layers. Drag them outside. Delete that. Oh no, I don't need to delete it. I can place this background, the blue background. I can place it there and then just have it renamed. That's now I have my complete layers. So that is the most important step, okay? After you have merged together your line art, you should create a folder for that layer only. So this means each of these folders contain only one layer, which will be read later on by Harmony. So now I can save this. Now I can close. And let's go to Harmony. So we're preparing the background files, okay? So in Harmony, I will just access what I have used, the key drawings colorings, right? There. But before I do anything with it, of course, I am finished with the coloring. I'm going to insert the background, therefore I need to do a backup again so that I will have a clean background I have a clean colorings backup that I can go back to if ever I make mistakes or if ever I want to change anything or start over. So I'll save it as still within this folder, colorings. I'll save it KD key drawing 00. Let's name it with background. So this means this is complete. There's clean up, there's in between, there's color, and now it's going to have its background. I have it saved. Then let's just rename this layer finished keys. Sorry, finished drawings. So they are finished because they have colors, they have in betweens, they have keys and in betweens. Even if you play them, ready. So now let's focus here. Time to import. So the import procedure is the same as you imported your references, drawing references. File, import, images. And then I'll go to my browse. I'll look for that folder. Where is it? So here, KD00BG import. So that means I'm going to import this background file. See here, create layers based on file names. Yes. And then keep original bitmap, project resolution straight. Okay. Groups, the groups are as layers. Okay. That's correct. Then I'll press OK. And as you can see, there are your layers. It's there. Right? It's already there. And then I will just select these. And these are the layers. I will just arrange it. Okay, there. So now we have our there. Why is it not showing? Why do you think? The background is not showing. Because as you can see here, the exposure of the backgrounds are just up to here in the first frame. See, you can see it in the first frame. But if you will play it, it will not show. So what do we do? How do we deal with that? Simple. You just select the last frame here, and then you insert an exposure. The shortcut is F5. So I will just select and press F5. There, the exposure appears. Can I do that all at once for all the layers? Of course. I can select this, the second one, hold shift, click to the bottom, there, right? And then I can press F5. There. So now, my layer backgrounds are imported. So that's the good thing about working with Photoshop because, as I've said, their aspect ratio or their size, file size, are compatible. They fit. Okay? So now we have our layers ready. On our next session, we will be animating the scene backgrounds so that it will create that camera simulation animations or camera movement animations that we have discussed earlier. So I'll just save my work. Okay, so see you on the next part.